Y'all, it's time for some damn good tacos in college football. We're excited to announce our title sponsor, Torchys Tacos, for the Arkansas Football Report with Otis Kirk, and the new addition to the Hogville.net family, the Arkansas pregame show starring former Hog running back Marshall Foreman, hosted by Jason Pattison. If you're looking for a place to unwind and call the Hogs, Torchys is the place. Torchys' location on MLK in Fayetteville is the proud host of the Arkansas pregame show, and it will air 2 hours prior to kickoff of each Fayetteville home game. The Arkansas Football Report airs every Thursday at 7 p.m. in Rogers. Check out the full-service bar on the patio or in the restaurant while you cheer Arkansas on to victory. Torchys has you covered with the daily drink specials or the taco of the month with their queso that's made in-house fresh daily. Torchys has 2 convenient locations in Northwest Arkansas, which happen to be the only 2 locations here in the great state of Arkansas. They have you covered for some damn good tacos, and go Hogs.
One, two, three, four. Everybody, welcome to the Arkansas Football Report with Otis Kirk. I'm Jason Pattison, and good evening, Razorback Nation. It's Thursday, November 26, 2024. And welcome. We are here live at Torchys Tacos in Rogers, as we are every Thursday night. Tonight, Otis is the special Tuesday night version because of Thanksgiving this week. And I want to thank Marcus and all of the crew here at Torchys for their hospitality that they show us every time we are here. Also, click and subscribe on the like button there on the right-hand side and subscribe to the page to make sure you can catch all of our live shows. Also, previous shows with Otis, Dudley, Kevin, and Marshall. Also, if you're out shopping this holiday season, save 15% at the register. Mention Hogville, and they'll get you set up with that promo, so you can save a little bit of money and spend it on the loved ones you have that you're going to spend on this holiday season. And make sure that you pair that with the queso that's made in-house, fresh daily, with the taco of the month, which happens to be the Gambler Quesadilla. Their take on their quesadilla here. They do have a pretty good breakfast burrito as well, so make sure to check that out, or any of the other tacos here on the menu, and open your taste buds to a whole new world. Also, special thanks to Carbless Cocktails, which happens to be our new sponsor that they've come on here the last couple of weeks. Make sure to try out any of the 9 different flavors that they have available in vodka, which is black raspberry, pineapple, lemon lime, cranberry, lemon, passion fruit, black cherry, and peach, or also the margarita tequila cocktail as well. So those are 0 sugar, 0 carbs, and 100 calories per can. So you can pick those up here at Torchys or in any of your local grocery stores. Also, if you're heading to Columbia, be sure to bundle up. Otis, it's going to be a snow game, it looks like. And I love snow games, personally. I think they're fun.
Yeah. It's going to be cold up there.
Yes.
That doesn't really matter just hope Arkansas can get a win there and get out of Missouri 7-5, and hopefully go to a decent bowl game. I mean, I don't know. I honestly don't know if they beat Missouri, if that gets them to a different bowl than Liberty or Birmingham anyway.
Yeah.
Now, if they'd have beaten Oklahoma State or A&M or some of those teams and got to 8 wins, it might have. And hey, look, it could make a difference on 7. It could.
Yeah.
But one thing it's kind of pulling at that, though, I think Memphis Liberty Bowl would love to have Arkansas, and even if they'd have got 7 wins or 8, Memphis still would have liked to have had them. So Memphis may want them so bad that it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
But that'll keep them out of Birmingham. So it's not all bad. So, but my gut feeling is Arkansas ends up in the Liberty Bowl, regardless of what happens Friday, win or lose.
I think that would be optimal for Razorback fans because it's right after Christmas.
Yeah.
It's a Friday game.
Yeah.
Friday game. I mean, who wants to go and spend a weekend in Memphis right after Christmas, right before New Year's Day? I think that might be a match made in heaven because it's easy travel for the Razorback fans in Northwest Arkansas and Central Arkansas and over, in the western side of Tennessee. I think that'd be great.
Yeah. Birmingham's the same day. It's just earlier in the day. But, man, I tell you what, that Liberty Bowl, 6 o'clock kickoff at night, it's going to be cold, guys. I mean, it's going to be cold. So bundle up there, just like Jason's talking about Missouri. Bundle up in the Liberty Bowl because it's going to be cold. I remember that East Carolina game several years ago when Bobby was the head coach. It was Bobby's second year here, whatever year that was. Yep. And they beat East Carolina in overtime, and, man, that was brutal. But
it was 2010?
Yeah, 9 or 10, whatever his last year, or second year. His second year here was. But yeah, it's going to be cold. But hey, it's football. If people want football weather, they're going to get it that night. I promise you'll get some football weather. But you look at the Packers and these teams. They do this all the time. So I mean, they're used to it. So they can survive it.
I also feel like you watch some of these snow games. I was watching the Browns game last Thursday night, and you feel like there's just a little bit more intensity. There's a little bit more pep in the step because it's just a different element that you have to overcome. And I think that these players really enjoy it because it's something that they don't normally get to do. And honestly, it's a 180 from what fall camp is like.
Yeah, it's different. It's so hot earlier in the season and people are passing out and heat exhaustion and stuff, and now you're going to freeze. So, yeah, it's there's some in between. And I can say, honestly, the weather has been pretty good in between all season for Arkansas. I mean, this has been one of the better seasons I remember. It hasn't been raining that much. It hasn't been that cold. It's been a little chilly, but not freezing cold like it is some years.
Yeah.
So it's actually been pretty good weather. I don't think Arkansas can gripe about the weather no matter what happens Friday or what happens in the bowl game, wherever they play. So in that sense, I think, it's been a pretty good season as far as weather is concerned, and that's not going to change.
No, it's not. Also, throw up your questions, comments, concerns, if they are good, bad, or ugly, unless it's completely laced with curse words. If it's not, then I don't think I'll be inclined to, because I think Manny would not be very appreciative of that anyway. So you throw up comments, questions. We'll go over those live as we go through this next hour with you all. Again, want to thank Torchys and Carbless. So let's get into this, my friend. Last week, Razorbacks become bowl eligible. We were talking about it at the start of the show here. But, I felt like it was two teams skating uphill with turd skates on. It was awful.
I'm going to be honest with you. I really think, and I may be wrong on this. But thanks for bringing the shirt.
Yeah.
Okay. I may be wrong on this, Jason, but Arkansas had 3 turnovers again. And I honestly, if Louisiana Tech had had an offense that was capable of doing anything, I think they might have beaten Arkansas. You combine the 3 turnovers with all the penalties Arkansas had Saturday.
Yeah.
They would have lost that game had they been playing a team with any better offense. And Louisiana Tech had the worst offense I've seen in a long time in a college football team at Arkansas, played against Arkansas. They were awful on offense. Their defense wasn't bad. No. It wasn't great, but it wasn't bad.
No.
But that offense was terrible. And I knew going in it was, but it was worse than I thought. I knew they had a bad offense, but it was even worse than I thought. But I'm just telling you, I'm not sure Arkansas wins that game if they're playing anybody different on the schedule. I mean, 3 turnovers and all those penalties. And I don't buy all those were legit penalties. I think the refs were. That was a sorry crew. Man, they've got.
It was awful too.
Yeah, they
first
sucked.
Of the game, they couldn't get a damn flag out, and then all of a sudden, it just barraged the flags out.
What got me is sometimes they'd wait to see what happened on the play before they throw the flag. And that's BS when you do that. That's BS. If it's a penalty, call it. But if you're going to wait and see, well, let's see what they'd happen. And then the Arkansas got a 20-yard game. Well, let's throw the flag. I just wasn't. I thought those guys were crooks. I didn't think they were very good. I thought they sucked, and that's just my point, you know. And Arkansas won the game, so I'm not blaming them for that. But I don't think they were very good. It's just like the Liberty Bowl. What was that, 2 or 3 years ago when Arkansas played Kansas? Whenever that was, those refs from the Pac-12, they sucked too, man. That was an awful group. They couldn't even get the reviews right, and they ended up having to come out and apologize to.
Quincy McAdoo.
Yeah, Quincy McAdoo because of that bad call. Because at the time it looked like they would suspend him to start the next season. Yeah. It turned out he had that wreck and didn't matter. But yeah, they had to come out and issue apology to that kid. Now, and they had reviews that night. Matt Lander's elbow was down before he fumbled. I mean, and they still couldn't get the calls right. Yeah. So I mean, when I see that, I see them wait till I see what the play done before they throw the flag, guys. I'm not. Thinking some of these guys may have some money on these games. I'm just serious. I don't know. I may sound like a paranoid old man. Maybe I am. But I'm just telling you, it ain't beyond me to think there's some crooked refs out there. I mean, for money, why not refs? You got politicians. Everybody else is money hungry and driven. Everybody, sports writers and everybody else. So why would referees not be? So I'm not. They're not above corruption, and I think there's some involved in college sports. Those guys all were Saturday. I thought the LSU crew. Yeah, that's a tongue twister, man. The LSU crew was terrible till I saw that group Saturday, and they were even worse.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's that LSU crew.
They weren't very good. They did. Awful. I think they did the Missouri OU. They did another game after that together. I saw them on TV. I believe it was the Missouri OU game, Jason.
That was laced with penalties.
It was the same crew because I saw the same guy announcing. He was the same one announcing the calls and stuff. It was in the Arkansas game. So,
yeah,
man,
and it didn't even turns out they didn't even need the crew to do that because Oklahoma basically gave the game away and screwed themselves at the end with the fumble and scoop and score.
OU, I don't know anything about SEC football anymore. OU gives the Missouri game away, looks like crap all season, and beats Alabama 24-3. I'm convinced. I know nothing about football. I mean, the SEC football. Auburn sucks, and they beat A&M. I thought A&M. Yeah. And hey, this could all get messed up again this week if Vanderbilt were to beat Tennessee and Auburn was to beat Alabama, and I don't think they will. But Vanderbilt beat Tennessee and Auburn beat A&M beat Texas. This whole thing could get all messed up again this weekend, Jason. It's not over. I mean, that's why I think it's crazy the SEC is even entertaining the thought of going to 9 games. That is crazy because all they're doing is just beating the hell out of each other in schools like SMU. And BYU, not now, but Arizona State, but schools like Clemson, they're all benefiting from that. And you saw what happened when Clemson played Georgia. You saw what happened. They got blown off the field. And you can't tell me these other teams at 10-1 would be where they're at if they were playing an SEC schedule. It's just not the same. And I'm just telling you, man, the SEC crazy if they go to 9 conference games. All they're doing is just beating the hell out of each other. Yeah. It's going to cost them some playoff spots. It may this year. I could see them even if things went right Saturday, I could see them just getting 3 bids. They'll probably get 4. They'll probably let Alabama in. And people are going to gripe. But listen, I'd rather see Alabama get into Clemson. Clemson's not deserving of it.
No, they aren't.
But I think South Carolina will beat Clemson anyway, or I hope they do. And I'm not Clemson out anyway. But Alabama's not deserving. But I'd rather they get into some of these fake teams like Clemson and Arizona State.
We saw what Georgia did to Clemson for the first of the season.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's what I said. You saw what happened there. They got blown off the field.
I really feel like Clemson is the same team that they were at the first of the season. I mean,
play a different schedule.
Yeah, and there's a lot of teams that are different from where they started to where they end.
Yeah.
Mind you, Florida, which is bowl eligible now, which is crazy to
Yeah,
think.
see, that's another one. We'd written them off. Everybody written them off. Now they're bowl eligible. They beat. They're beating these teams. And who was it they beat Saturday down there?
I'll have to look.
Oh, never mind. It doesn't matter. I just wondered who they beat Saturday. I know they've. But LSU finally won a game. I mean, they'd lost 3 in a row.
They beat Ole Miss.
Yeah, beat Ole Miss. There's a team right there that people had win the national championship. Lane Kiffin's going to win the national championship. I'm going to tell you what. He lost 3 games. They had absolutely no business. No business losing. He lost to LSU. He lost to LSU. He lost to Kentucky. Yep. And he lost to them Saturday to Florida. That guy has no business talking about national championships. Give me a break. They blew 3 games. I don't care if they beat Georgia. That's fine. That's great and dandy. If you're going to play for the national championship, you should be able to beat Georgia.
That's the thing.
Somebody. But you don't lose to Kentucky at home. You don't lose the games he lost. I mean, I'm sorry. And I like Lane Kiffin. I'm not knocking Lane Kiffin, but I like the guy. But, I mean, I'm just telling you. Until he stops losing games that he should win, he's not going to be a national championship coach.
No. Well, even look at it, too. And I've seen some sports stories or articles regarding this, too, is with revenue sharing coming up next year, is it worth the money to spend on all of these players, getting them in with revenue sharing on top of NIL? Because A&M last year had the highest NIL collective that they spent on a team. This year, it looks like it was Ole Miss. It's not paying off.
Yeah.
And like Nick Saban said, unless you get the right kids, your ass is out of there.
Well, you got to do what you got to do, and that's why I'm sure they feel like that's what they've got to do. But I'm telling you, man, it's what it is. You're starting free agency every year, and you don't have the year round to build. It's just different in college. That's why I think that's one reason you see the transfer portal has evened this thing up a lot, because used to Alabama and Georgia got the majority of the 5-star recruits in high school. They won the recruiting battle. So LSU got in there. But now everybody's getting good players out of the portal. It's evened this thing up, but it's also made it more unpredictable too. The fact that now you don't know from 1 week to the next. I'm serious. You don't know who's going to win Saturday. You can study this stuff till the cows come home. There was nothing to make me think that OU would beat Alabama 24-3.
Yeah.
Not so much they beat them. I mean, you go to Norman, you're capable. You can lose there. It's kind of like I said about Ole Miss going to LSU. You can lose there. But I'm just telling you, nobody. I saw a 24-3 game between OU and Alabama coming Saturday night. Auburn, written off for dead. Come out, risen. They've risen from the grave and won some games. I mean, the sleeves bag. And then got the Arkansas plays the other sleeves bag this weekend up there in Columbia, Missouri. So hopefully Arkansas can put a notch in. Somebody said today, you got to change your tune if Drinkowitz was coming to Arkansas. I said, I ain't changing my tune. No. I ain't changing my tune. I don't want that clown to Arkansas. I don't want him. I don't care if he's 12-0. They go 15-0 and win the national championship or 16, whatever it is. I don't care. I don't want him. I don't like the guy. I don't care for his attitude. He's an arrogant jerk, and I don't like him. If that offends somebody, so be it.
Let's look at what happened this weekend. They were playing, I do believe it was Mississippi State.
Yeah.
And he said, and I quote, "We will blanking score on you again if you don't shut your blanking mouth."
Yeah. Well, he told the Alabama players down there to dropping F-bombs against the Alabama players down there against them. And I wish one of those defensive linemen from Alabama had gone over there and
34-0
knocked his butt out. Yeah. Knocked him out. Just laid him out right there on the spot. One of them Alabama players just went over there and just knocked his ass out in one leg. But went Cecil on him in one leg.
I do have a unique twist on this NIL portal, how you get a player to not just jump ship every year, where you're having to basically reinvent the wheel every freaking year. What if you get one of the, and this is, and I've said this and I've been a proponent of this, and I feel like this is true to my core, that eventually you're going to see NIL and revenue sharing take the mold of what the NFL is now and you are going to move that into the college game because that's the only way it can go.
Yeah.
What if you had where a team has got 4, maybe 6, maybe 10 players that are core players, like Sam was talking about on Monday?
Right, 6 core players he's going to talk to Monday after the Missouri game. Wants them to come back, 6 juniors.
And what if he was to say for instance, they're sophomores, right? And they're trending on that upward scale. What if they were saying, okay, well, here's what we're going to do. We're going to do a tier system. Your sophomore year, you sign with us. You're going to sign a 3-year contract with us. First year, we're going to give you $200,000. Second year, we're going to give you $400,000. And if you make, with incentives, if you're a first-team All-American going into your senior year, you get $750,000. You see any of those kids making that jump and making that commitment, because that's the only way that you're going to probably quell some of this.
I think something's got to happen in this. It should have had rules to go in. We made the wild west to start with, Jason. It's not going to work eventually, and we're all for people get paid. I have no issue with him. Hell, I like getting paid because I have no issue with anybody getting paid. It's not that. And I know coaches have gotten paid. They've jumped ship, changed jobs, left the kids to fend for themselves, and it's after they signed the letter of intent. I get all that, but I'm just saying that something reasonable's got to take hold of all this, because I tell you, and I had a guy ask me this week, hey man, if they'd have done this, done that, they'd got your 8 wins. I said, I don't need any explanation. Somebody explain what my pick meant. I said they should have won 8 games. I say that today, they should have won 8 games. This team had the talent to win 8 games. There's no way in God's green earth they should have had to go to Louisiana Tech game, get 6 wins to go to a bowl game. They underachieved. You can put that on who you want to put it on, but I'm just telling you, I'm not apologizing for my pick of 8 wins. They should have won 8 games, minimum.
And there's a possibility that could still happen.
Well, it could. Yeah, it could. They beat Missouri and then they win the bowl game. They'll be at 8 wins, but my pick was for the regular season. So, but regardless of that, just that's not even the point. The point is, good God, I've been wrong a million times. I could have been wrong, but Arkansas, there's no way they should have lost to Oklahoma State.
No,
They shouldn't have lost to A&M. And they made they made LSU and Ole Miss look like the New England Patriots with Tom Brady at quarterback.
Were you putting that on there?
My God, they made them. And we found out those are not super teams, and they made them look like it. But they should have beaten it. They should have beaten OSU, and they should have beaten A&M. Right now, they'd be sitting at 8 wins if they had. And that's not asking too much. If they don't fumble at the 10-yard line against A&M, I think they win. And you can come up one of a million plays. So I think Jacob at KNWA and I, we went over that Sunday after the ball game, Oklahoma State game. We went over like 25 or 30 plays in that Oklahoma State game that they were just, error. We went over about 25 or 30, 35 plays that day. Maybe it's 42. I can't remember what Jacob had. But we spent nearly the whole show talking about that, And I tell you what, it was fun. It was fun. It was spot on. Jacob nailed him, But
here's my thing. Sam talked about this at the first of the season. He said there's going to be one game that we shouldn't have won. There's going to be one game that we should have won, and we'll go 500 the rest of the way. And as it sits right now, that's pretty much where they're at.
Yeah.
Tennessee was the one that they probably shouldn't have won. Oklahoma State was the one they should have won.
Yeah.
And then this weekend, if they beat Missouri, then that's what happens. I mean, he was dead spot on. And I know that there's a lot of people that give Sam a lot of shit for this. I want to throw this on here too. So Kevin says, so if you want to keep the worst coach in the SEC, Pittman is nothing but an offensive line coach. Nobody's going to give Pittman money to get a real coach. It will come. My thing is that you also have to have people that are not believe in the system, but you got to have people that believe in the players on the field. It has nothing to do with the coach whenever it comes down to execution. It has to do with coaches getting the players prepared. But the thing is that whenever it comes to execution, you shouldn't hold your money out because you don't like the guy.
Well, here's my deal on all this. I've got these morons coming at me Sunday because I wouldn't criticize Sam when I had a recruit, had the kid Hutch on there. And if you think I'm going to criticize, first place, Pigtail Nation doesn't have me do a recruiting segment to criticize the coach. Well, I've got a recruit on there. We do this. I do this podcast with you each week. I do the one Rick Kennedy, and I'm critical of the coaches. I'm critical, but if you think I'm going to do that while I've got to recruit on, that's not even the purpose of that show. That's the recruiting segment. That's all that is.
No, yeah, it's like get the mess out of here.
If you're an idiot and don't understand that, I don't know what to tell you because you're a complete moron. If you don't understand that, I can't explain it to you. As far as and when I put on there Saturday, I pissed a lot of people off. When I put on there, this guy put on there that would be Sam's last game. There, against Louisiana Tech. I said he's not getting fired. No. I said unless every source I've got is wrong, he's not getting fired. And they take that to say I'm defending Sam. People, I'm not defending Sam. I'm telling you what my sources are telling me.
Yeah.
Don't you understand? I'm telling you what my sources are telling me. They tell me that Sam will be back next year if he wants to be back. If he'd have lost to Louisiana Tech, he might have lost. He would have lost his job. But they told me that if he got 6 wins, if you've got a problem with that, you need to talk to Hunter Yurchek and the board of trustees. Not be jumping my butt because I'm just passing along what I've got. I've got a bunch of sources.
Yeah,
it's good sources anybody has. Well, and I'm just telling you what they're telling me. And they're all consistent with it. They're all telling me to the man, that woman, that Sam will be back next year unless he wants to retire. So all I'm doing is passing that along. I'm not defending him. I'm not saying it's right to keep him. I'm not saying it's wrong. I don't understand. People don't understand. You say something, you tell them what your sources are saying, and then they want to jump your butt because they don't agree with you or think I'm defending Sam. That's not what I'm doing. I'm just passing along what if my sources were telling me. If my sources were telling me that Sam's going to be gone, that's what I'd be saying.
Or even if it's a 50-50.
Yeah, I'm just telling you what they're telling me. Yeah. And the thing of it is, this is every source I've got has told me that I've talked to about this has told me the same thing, that Sam will be back next year unless he retires, which I guess is possible. I know he tossed that around with that hip, but I'm just passing on what I'm saying. Yeah. I mean, what I've been told, guys. You don't know how I feel. I've said they've underachieved this year. I said they've underachieved. I said they should have won 8 games. They shouldn't have come down to Louisiana Tech having to win that to get to a boat. This is not a 6-6 team. It's just not. So I'm just telling you. I mean, I'll tell you what I think, but you want me to say stuff. But if you think I'm going to do that with the recruit on there, you're out of your mind. You have no clue how it works. If that's what you're thinking.
No doubt. All right, so. Let's look at this. Let's look at this Missouri game. Well, I can't even talk either. Maybe it's filtering my way too. I don't know. You're at Brady Cook. He's the leading passer for Missouri. I mean, you have had Drew Pine that's had to come in for a couple of games because Brady got hurt against that Alabama game.
Yeah.
Brady's thrown for 2,080 yards, 64% completion, 9 touchdowns to 2 interceptions. He's not going to make a lot of mistakes, but he's also not going to beat you with the over the air. He's not going to. And if with what happens on Saturday, if they do have snow, that could affect that somewhat because that might help Arkansas in the defensive secondary because one, Theo Weiss and Luther Burton are not going to be getting off the line sure-footed at first.
Yeah.
It takes a little bit and you can ask any of the players that have played in snow before. It takes you a little bit to get trust
to
your
adjust
feet.
it. Yeah.
Because you're going to slip and slide.
Well, yeah, and that's the thing. And I mean, they've got a good team. Missouri does. They're not as good as I thought they were going to be to start the season. But I also had a guy tell me today, he kicks Arkansas. Sam Drinkowicz has kicked Sam's butt every year. Let's see, they won by 2 points one year, 29-27.
Yep.
And the other year, I think they won by 1 or 2 points. Last year, they kicked Arkansas's butt.
Yeah.
And Arkansas beat them 34-17 in 2021.
Yep.
But in the other game at Missouri in 2020, I think it was like a 1 or 2 point game that year too, Jason. Missouri won in 2020. But
look that up here.
Yeah, I had that today, but he has not kicked Sam's butt. He has one time, and Sam kicked his butt one time. The other 2 games came down to the very end, and just that kicker was the difference in those games. And Missouri had the ball last, and Arkansas scored too early that one year. I remember that, and but so
I know that there's because like last year, for instance, you have players get frustrated. There was a fight on the field over there on the south end zone. You could feel like it wasn't because of the play on the field. I felt like there was a frustration from the club, from inside the locker room, that spilled out onto the field. I mean, you saw the video of players watching. I think it was it Polar Express at the end of during halftime of the Auburn game. You don't have any. You had wide receivers responding to Missouri players after the game. You don't see any of that mess this year because, let's face it, Sam tightened the locker room up. People don't want to give this guy any credit. I mean, it's to the point where they don't want to give him any credit because they're afraid if they do, that's going to put a chink in the armor saying, okay, well, maybe we should keep him another year. They're so afraid of that they were not willing to give him any ounce of credit.
Here's the thing about it is, too, I mean, you get pissed off all you want at people in the media, but we don't have any say. I have no say if Sam's going to be back. You think Hunter Yurchek cares if I think Sam deserves another year or not? And give a rat's butt what I think. So they don't care about that stuff. They apparently made their decision. It has nothing to do with me. Yeah. I can write what I want. I can say what I want. I don't know what else to say. I've said they've underachieved. They haven't been terrible.
Yeah,
they've underachieved. I thought they'd have the turnover issue figured out by game 12, and they haven't. That amazes me. About all the coaches, not just Sam, but Bobby, all of them. It's just Marcus and all of them. I mean, it just.
You didn't have the turnovers that you thought the defense would be producing this year because they did produce last year.
5 touchdowns last year on defense, led the nation. This year they're not doing it. So it's not just Sam, it's the whole group. And I mean, I don't know what else to say. I've said they've underachieved. I've said they should have won more games than they did. And I don't apologize for picking to win 8 games. If I had to do over again, knew what I know, I'd go with 8 wins again. The only reason I wouldn't be if I thought they were going to turn the ball over this much. Like I said, I knew Taylor Green's reputation was he turned the ball over. He was careless with the ball, But I thought about game 3 or 4, time I get deep in, start the conference play, really get serious by A&M or something, that Bobby will have this figured out and he'll get that out of Taylor Green. And it hasn't happened. So,
well, it's the decision making that you would think that under Bobby's tutelage all spring, all summer, and then 11 games into the season, that you would have something figured out by now. And it's just going to take another off season. Really, I personally feel that way. I don't know if he'll make the turn, but if he's able to make the turn, I feel like it will happen next season. I'm going to go over this here in just a minute, and we're going to go with your break in just a minute. On the other side, I want to go over the Razorbacks' first 4 games of next year. I think that it's critical for Sam next year, but we'll go over that in a minute.
Brutal schedule.
Going back to what you were talking about, Arkansas lost at Missouri. It was Sam and Drink's first year, 50-48. That was the game where Felipe Franks, they called for the 2-point conversion, and he did not convert on that, and that's why Arkansas
KJ
lost.
Jefferson was the quarterback.
Oh, that's
Felipe
right.
got hurt and didn't play that game.
That's right.
And that was KJ's coming out party, and he played great. KJ Jefferson did. But and then the year they got beat was 29-27, I believe, 2 years ago.
Yeah, 2 years ago.
Arkansas actually took the lead in the final minute.
Yeah.
But they scored too quick, and Missouri came down and kicked the field goal and beat them. So, I mean,
don't let Drink have the ball at the end.
Yeah, he's good with that. He's a good coach. He's a good coach. Yeah. He's an arrogant jerk, but he's a good coach. I'm willing to give somebody credit, to recognize them being good at what they do. I may not like them, but the guy is good. He's a good coach. I don't think he's a great coach. He's had that one season where I'll say this, he's lucky because, there were some games this year, including OU, that they should have lost. And that's the difference in the SEC.
Yeah.
It seems like Drink figures out a way to win the games, and Sam maybe figures out a way to lose them. It's not that simple. I get that, but that's kind of the way it looks. I mean, look, and people, I get why you're frustrated. Shit, I'm not an idiot. I get why you're frustrated. You think I like going and covering games and watching them getting torched by Ole Miss, and then have to write stories and then do these podcasts? You think it call recruits stuff? You think I like doing that? I get your frustration, but taking it out on the wrong people, you can take it out on me if you want, but I'm just telling you, you're barking up the wrong tree because first, you don't know how I feel. But I mean, if you think I'm going to get on a segment and with a recruit on there, like the kid I had last week in Blast, Arkansas, you're out of your mind. That's just ignorance. Yeah. I mean, that really is ignorance. I mean, that's not happening, people.
All right, everybody, on the other side of the break, we're going to talk a little bit about the first 4 games of Arkansas' schedule next year. We're going to talk a little bit more about some recruiting that happened this week, and we'll go over the SEC today. And we are here live at Torchys and Rogers. We'll be back in just a moment.
Y'all, it's time for some damn good tacos and college football. We're excited to announce our title sponsor, Torchys Tacos, for the Arkansas Football Report with Otis Kirk, and the new addition to the Hogville.net family, the Arkansas pregame show starring former Hog running back Marshall Foreman, hosted by Jason Pattison. If you're looking for a place to unwind and call the Hogs, Torchys is the place. Torchys' location on MLK in Fayetteville is the proud host of the Arkansas pregame show, and it will air 2 hours prior to kickoff of each Fayetteville home game. The Arkansas Football Report airs every Thursday at 7 p.m. in Rogers. Check out the full-service bar on the patio or in the restaurant while you cheer Arkansas on to victory. Torchys has you covered with the daily drink specials or the taco of the month with their queso that's made in-house fresh daily. Torchys has 2 convenient locations in Northwest Arkansas, which happen to be the only 2 locations here in the great state of Arkansas. They have you covered for some damn good tacos, and go Hogs.
For us, like Thursday night.
Everybody, thank you guys for jumping back on with us here with the Arkansas Football Report live at Torchys Tacos here on Rogers. You can kind of tell that nobody's wanting to cook with Thanksgiving coming around this Thursday. You got a completely packed house here at Torchys. I'm sure, I'm guessing probably the Fayetteville store is going to be seeing about the same traffic because, I mean, I don't want to cook before Thanksgiving because that's what's going to happen for most of the weekend because I got a Thanksgiving with my family on Thursday and then some more family on Friday. We have the football game on Saturday, and then there's another Thanksgiving for me on Sunday as well. And I'm going to tell you what, I don't know if I can eat that much turkey.
Yeah.
It's a hell of a lot.
Yep, it is. I'll have you having frozen dinners, so, Okay.
I think we might be able to get you hooked up with something. We got to get you.
Oh, I'm fine, man. I'm fine. Believe me, I've gone covered the Arkansas Illinois basketball game for my newspapers, and I'm fine, man. I do, me and that Bulldog, we always make it, man. Me and the Bulldog will survive, man. Dog, he's like me. He doesn't pass up any meals, man.
So make sure to stop by any of the locations in Fayetteville or Rogers here at Torchys Tacos. And also think of carbless cocktails, 0 sugar and zero carbs and 100 calories per can. You can find those here at Torchys Tacos or in any of your grocery stores in your local area. So talked about NIL. We've talked about with what's kind of happened with the Missouri game. It looks like it's going to be snow for the forecast. Nate Knoll, he's got 779 yards, Otis, through 11 games. I thought that the identity of Drinkowitz's system this year was going to be more of a power running game. And it hasn't maturated to that point. I feel like their identity as an offensive unit has been quite lost in what it was the last couple of years. And honestly, what it's been really bailing their ass out has been their defense.
Yeah, it has, and it bailed them out against OU, but they've suffered some injuries. Those games where Cook was out really hurt them. I mean, that really made a difference in when they've got Luther Bird and Theo Weiss are 2 of the better wide receivers in the SEC. There might be a better pair on any team. I mean, those guys are good, both of them. Yeah, they'll be in the NFL. Luther Burden and Theo Weiss. I don't know much about their running back. I know he's had some yardage, but I've seen him play. I've seen him play 2 or 3 times. I don't know if I've watched a complete game. I know Brady Cook, like you said earlier, he's a quarterback that doesn't do much to get you beat. You got to beat him. He's not going to beat himself. That's what I'm saying. So, I mean, and there's something to be said for that, and I wish Taylor Green, he can't make the explosive plays that Taylor Green makes and can make, but he doesn't do some of the things that Taylor does to get you beat either. It's kind of a trade-off, Jason. You just have to you take the good with the bad and the bad with the good, and Taylor can do things that Brady Cook can't do, but Cook protects the ball better than Talon, and so it works both ways, man. But I'll take Talon Green over him. I tell you what, if Talon can just stop turning the ball over, and look, all those turnovers are not on him. I mean, for instance, the Texas game, that interception he threw, that's on Tyrone Broden. That's not on Talon Green.
Right through his hands, too.
Yeah, that ball's got to be caught. Now, he's had somewhere absolutely, like Saturday, he threw the ball right to the defensive back of Louisiana Tech. I mean, that was on Talon, 100% on him. But I'm just saying some of those turnovers have been fumbles by other people or by him, but not all of them are on. All the turnovers are not on Talon. I don't want to imply that they are, but he's had a bunch of them, and hopefully he gets all this figured out. And they do a better job with that this weekend because they can't go to Missouri and beat Missouri, beating them while they're beating themselves to boot. No, they're not that good to do that. So they've got to make Missouri beat them, and they've got to make Missouri earn every inch of yardage they get up there. Every inch, not every yard, every foot, every inch that they get, they've got to make Missouri earn it. And you don't want to give them anything. So we'll see how this plays out. I think it's going to be a good game. Yeah. I really do. I think Arkansas will be better prepared than they were last year. I don't know if they could be worse.
Some things too.
Huh?
I think the cold's going to mitigate some things too with what both of the offense wants to do.
You never know who that'll affect. I don't think it'll hurt Arkansas. Mm-hmm. I think, but we'll see. But I mean, both teams have been a little inconsistent with their kicking. They've had some great kickers. Mevis, the guy, Big Harrison Mevis, was his name Harrison?
Yeah, Harrison Mevis from
Mevis, and then of course Cam Little. So, but both teams miss those guys. Both of them. They've gotten guys like. What I said today when the kicker committed or went public with it today is I said, I hope he's consistent because people took it to mean I was talking about that individual kicker. I'm not talking about him. I'm talking about just kickers in general. But this year, they have a guy who might kick, regardless of which one they had in there. He might nail a 50, 55-yarder, Jason, and miss a 30 or 35-yarder. You want consistency is what you want, and that's what I'm hoping they get with this kicker they committed today. So we'll see. He's number one in the nation, and, and they moved the other kid around, and he committed to Florida. And Arkansas came out of that okay.
I think they did too.
They came out of that okay. So they've got a kid that's coming on strong.
His kicker, he decommitted from Iowa yesterday. Yeah. He's a 5'9", 175-pound kicker. Yeah. I do believe he's coming out of Texas. Is that correct?
Yeah, he's from the Woodlands High School down in, I believe that's Houston area, Conroe. Yeah. But, he's a good player. Here's the deal, Jason. Here's the deal with the kicker. I mean, he's from Texas, and that gives him another Texas kid on board. The other kid was from Mississippi. And so I think this will pay more dividends in the long run. But they need a kicker. They need to get one. I think Scott Fountain rebounded as well as you can. When you have a kid committed as long as Evan Noel was, and then he steals you at the end to bounce back and come out of it smelling as good as Fountain did there, I think he came out okay on this trade.
Yeah, I'm not going to sugarcoat it for just a second. Scott Fountain's been taking it on the chin this week for good reason. He had a fake field goal that went for a first down. They fortunately for Arkansas, they missed the field goal. Then you had Buck Buchanan, the punter, if I'm not mistaken, or is it Patrick Ray? I think it was Patrick Ray, the punter for Louisiana Tech. He was the leading rusher for Louisiana Tech last weekend. He had one carry for 26 yards on a fake punt on the right side that went. And those are some things that really kind of come back to bite you in the end. And luckily it didn't for Arkansas, but in the long run, you start to have to sit there and say, okay, what's going on? Why is this still happening?
Well, it didn't because, like I said, Louisiana Tech was too inept on offense to take advantage of it. But if they'd played anybody else on that schedule, anybody, including UAB, and played that way, they would have lost that game Saturday. I'm just telling you, man, that was not a good effort. That was 3 turnovers and all those penalties. I'm just telling you, man, Arkansas had played anybody but Louisiana Tech. They'd probably lose that game Saturday. And then you're sitting there looking to have to go to Missouri to win. And I'm not counting on that. I'm not saying they can't. They can beat Missouri. But I picked Missouri, and we'll see what happens. Of course, doesn't mean anything. I picked Arkansas many times this year, but I can't pick them to win that game until they actually go up there and win.
And I'm going to pull up this really quick. I want to go over this here because we just talked about this right before the break. Here we go. I want to talk about the Arkansas 2025 schedule for just a minute. And there's a reason why, because I feel like this is going to tie in, and it always does. Because like Frank has always he said a long time ago that you're going to be remembered for November. You're going to remember in November. Thing is that here, let's look at this for just a minute, because I feel like how Arkansas ends this season is going to dictate how they're going to start next season. They have got to start hot. If they don't start hot, Sam's out. I feel that in my bones. I believe that. They have got to start, because the reason why, one, you got the first game of the season is going to be against Missouri State, Bobby's old team.
They're not playing Missouri State. They're playing somebody else.
Alabama A&M.
Alabama A&M. Yeah, that
Alabama
game
A&M.
got canceled.
Yes. Yeah. And so that's going to be August 30th. Then you have what is I think is the Super Bowl for Arkansas. You've got Arkansas and Arkansas State and Little Rock that next week. A buddy of mine, Marcus, he said this to me, and him and I were talking a little bit about this. A-State is going to be playing out of their minds. They're going to be playing 11 levels higher than what they probably should. And this is their time to make their mark, because you don't know when the next time they're going to be playing again in Little Rock. I don't think it's going to happen. I think it'll be a home and home if it does. But Arkansas State's going to come out there and they're going to try to smack you in the mouth. How the end of this season turns out is the way it's going to look and how it's going to feel. Because if you don't, and you flutter, kind of like what happened with Arkansas in that Vautech bowl game with Brett Bielema a few years ago, and you felt like it was kind of the demise, because then after that they kind of fluttered at the start of the season. They have got to start hot. If they don't, because the next week they go to Memphis.
Yeah. They've got Notre Dame coming to Fayetteville too,
and then Notre Dame the week after.
Man,
that.
that's
First
just a brutal start. I don't know why Arkansas is going to Memphis. That is beyond me. Why an athletic director or whoever made that schedule would do that. There's nothing to gain by that. Nothing.
None.
And you go play that game. That's just that's dumb. There's no way I'd play Memphis at Memphis. I've never understood why Ole Miss and Mississippi State do it either, and they do some. So I just don't see the gain there.
Yeah.
But Arkansas needs to. Yeah, they definitely need to beat Arkansas State, and see what happens against those other games. But we'll see. But yeah, it's going to be a tough start to see. Beating Memphis in Memphis is going to be tough for the Hogs.
It is.
I mean, I think Memphis is 9-2 this year, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. Well, and I think that they're 9-2, but I don't think that they're going to have. I got to look at this, because their quarterback Seth Hennigan, he was great last year. I think he was all conference this year. Kind of fluttered a little bit. I think that he's let the game go a little bit from the offensive side, and Ryan Silverfield has not done the best job on the defensive side. They've let some teams back in. Probably the game should have been closer than what really they should have. But again, I would have to look that up and see if he's going to be returning. I think he might be a senior this year.
Yeah, of course, the transfer portal, they'll get a quarterback, and everything. But it's going to be a game where Arkansas needs to come out of the gate. I mean, they need that every year, because then once you get in the SEC play, we all know what happens then. I mean, it's brutal then, and that's what's going to happen. And it happens every year, and we know what happens once you get in the SEC play. There's no gimmies. There's no freebies out there.
All right, so let's Otis and I are going to start to take a look around the SEC today for this weekend coming up. Friday night, you got the Egg Bowl. You got Mississippi State. You got Ole Miss. Ole Miss is coming off that loss against Florida last weekend, which was a real head-scratcher. Mississippi State coming off a loss against Missouri, where you saw Drink over there cussing his head off at the Mississippi State players. I really feel like the Ole Miss defense is going to ratchet it up a little bit, because they know that Mississippi State and Mike Elko have got a I'm sorry, not Mike Elko. He's at A&M.
Who are you talking about, the Mississippi State coach?
Yeah, Jeff Lebby.
Yeah.
He knows that Lebby's got a great offense. So they're going to come out and they're going to be pinning their ears back, because it's at Ole Miss. It's going to be 2:30 on ABC. Mississippi is a 25-point favorite. I really feel like Mississippi is going to cover this one.
Yeah, if you could combine Mississippi State's offense with Louisiana Tech's defense, you have your pretty good team there, But,
Yeah.
Because Mississippi State's as bad on defense as Louisiana Tech is on offense.
Yeah.
They're bad. Both of them are really bad on that side of the ball, but the other side, they're decent. So, but yeah, Ole Miss should take care of that business there. Should take care of Mississippi State. That's game inside the state. You never know. But, yeah, I'd pick Ole Miss easily in that one,
Yeah. So that evening on ABC 6:30, you've got Georgia hosting Georgia Tech. Tech's had a couple of real sneaky wins this year.
Beat Miami.
They beat Miami. That was Miami's first loss of the season. They were really able to hold Cam Ward to really just, made him look pedestrian, really. Georgia coming in off that win against UMass. UMass kind of gave them a little bit of a tussle there at the first.
Yeah.
Put 21 points on them. And it kind of looked – listen, we knew that Georgia was probably going to handle their business against them. But, they made it a lot more interesting really than what it should have been.
Georgia's done that a lot this year. They don't seem to have that killer instinct they've had in the past where they just go out there and they cut your throat first quarter and then, finish you off the rest of the game. They haven't done that. They've kind of yelled around a little bit this year. So they're not the same. They may not be as good, simply not as good talent-wise. I don't know. But I just know that they haven't had the same mentality they've had in the past, and it shows. But, yeah, they're going to take care of Georgia Tech. They know they have no more slip-ups to get in the tournament or get in the playoffs.
Yeah.
They have no more slip-ups. They're not allowed anymore. They're
living
on borrowed time as it is. And so, they've got to win that game and take care of business, and they'll be in the playoffs. And it doesn't matter where you're seated at that point. All you're wanting to do is be one of the 12 teams that gets in and let the chips fall where they may.
Now, Carson Beck, his interception to touchdown ratio, interception ratio is 2-1. 23 interceptions on 12, or 23 touchdowns on 12 interceptions, with a little over 3,100 yards. That's where I think that Kirby Smart's offense has really sputtered a little bit, was because his mistakes have kind of let teams hang around a little bit more than what they should have.
Yeah, and that's it's kind of do. You look at Georgia; they've lost a lot of kids to the NFL. Them and Florida State and Michigan have all lost a lot of kids the last 2 years, and Georgia's actually doing better, probably better than those other two teams I mentioned are. But they've all took a big hit from the NFL, and eventually it takes a toll on you. It just does.
So next you've got this is a really good one too. This has got Vanderbilt hosting Tennessee, 11 a.m. Saturday on ABC. Tennessee is only a 10.5-point favorite. I think that Vanderbilt is going to make the game a lot like what happened last week with LSU, where it's close at the end. Imagine this. If you'd have told me that if Vanderbilt was going to go in there, they're going to beat Virginia Tech at the very first of the season, then they beat Alabama at home, they damn near beat Tennessee, and then they have a chance to beat Texas.
Yeah,
almost beat Texas, and then have a chance to beat Tennessee and actually have a legit shot and already are bowl eligible. That really speaks volumes of the job that Clark Lee has done there. He's
done a good job, and not much was expected of that team, but they could really screw up the SEC here if they beat Tennessee. Right now, Tennessee's sitting at 10-2. They've kind of got their Oklahoma State game with Arkansas. Arkansas is their Oklahoma State, where they're saying, there's no way we should have lost that game, and it's going to bite us in the butt. And if they lose Saturday, that's probably true. It would be the one that bit them in the butt. So they've got to win Saturday. Tennessee does. I think they will, but. But, there's no giving on that. It's not a given that they beat Vanderbilt. It's just not.
Yeah. So, again, 11 a.m. Saturday on ABC. Next, you've got South Carolina traveling to Clemson, 11 a.m. on ESPN. Clemson's a 2.5-point favorite. Clemson's 9-2 in the season. This game, Dabo Swinney and his group are going to have to bring their own guts, because I'm going to tell you what, Lenore Sellos and Rocket Sanders are going to go in there and they're going to try to whip their ass.
I think South Carolina wins that game.
I think
I
they
really
do.
Clemson's good, But I think South Carolina beats them, Jason. I really do. I'm going to go with South Carolina in that game.
Same here, because I feel like Clemson's schedule outside of maybe Miami and Georgia have been kind of, I mean, it's been training wheels for them because the ACC is not as tough as it's been. Because, I mean, listen, whenever you have SMU already locked in to go to your championship game, you got to be kidding me.
Rick's done a good job there, but let's be honest, the ACC is not what it has been in the past. And, Florida State last year was probably the best team well, I don't know if they were the best team in the country, but they were really good till all those players bolted on them, But earlier in the season, they were really good. But I don't know if they were the best in the country. I mean, I don't know. I mean, they were up there. They were in that discussion.
Yeah, they were. All right, so you got grudge match in Kentucky. We got Louisville traveling to Kentucky, 11 a.m. on the SEC Network. Louisville's a 4-point favorite in this one. It depends on which Kentucky team shows up. Is it Jekyll or is it Hyde? Really,
it's been one of those years we go to Ole Miss and win. You just doesn't make any sense how that season's gone. And Stoops is a good coach. I don't know what exactly has happened there, but it's caught up with him. Whatever magic he had, it's kind of worn off. And
well, I think that if they had more consistency from Brock Vandegrift, the quarterback, and listen, they've had a great run game up until this year, and I think that that's one of the two things that have really hampered them offensively, because you don't have that play like what for some of these top tier SEC teams, at least bowl eligible teams have.
Yeah. So I mean that's what's been them, and we'll see how it works out. But it's been a strange season, not just for Kentucky, but for a lot of teams, man.
Yeah. Well, because whenever we were looking at the first 3 weeks of the schedule, first 4 weeks of the season, the road team had a distinct advantage over the home teams. And the only game of 3 or 4 weeks was Vanderbilt losing on a last-second field goal that they basically biffed at Missouri. Missouri had the lone win there for at least a week or two after that. And so, like you said, it's been a crazy season so far. 2:30 ABC. You've got the Iron Bowl. Alabama hosting Auburn. Alabama's an 11.5-point favorite. I would venture to say that it's probably going to be a lot more. They probably need to make that spread a little bit more, because after what happened to Alabama last week at Oklahoma, I would be pissed off and ready to just pound Hugh Freeze into the ground.
I'll be surprised if Alabama's not in that mad mode and just come out and really take it to Auburn. OU didn't do Auburn any favors when they beat Alabama like they did. So now, on the other hand, you might say, well, Alabama's been exposed again, so maybe they're not as good as everybody thinks. And there may be some truth to that, Jason. But I got a feeling they're going to come out and pound Auburn pretty good. And that would keep Auburn from going to a bowl. I wrote a story today. There's 13 or 14 SEC schools going to be 13 for sure going to bowls, and that would make 14. Auburn's the only one still on the fence. The rest of the other there's 16 schools, and 2 of them are out, and Auburn would be out if they lose Saturday. They've got to win to make it 14.
For Arkansas fans too, and Alabama fans alike, and I know that a lot of people don't want to root for Alabama here in the state of Arkansas, but I really feel like that there's going to be a lot of Alabama fans here in the state this weekend, because there's so much riding on the line for Auburn, and if they lose, they're out. And I think that there's a lot of fans that would love that.
Well, Alabama needs to win too for the SEC purpose, get 4 teams in the deal, because they're really Alabama, the one team probably needs to do that, needs to get in there more, because they're probably the one team more so than the others that are on the bubble. I don't think Georgia or Tennessee or Texas are on the bubble nearly as much as Alabama may be. But if it's down to Alabama, people are going to gripe if Alabama gets in. They're going to say it's politics and all this, and there's probably a lot of truth to that. But I'm just saying, if it comes down to Auburn, Alabama or Clemson, somebody like that, or an ACC team, or an SEC, Big 12 or an ACC team, I hope Alabama gets in. I think the SEC deserves 4 teams in it. There's no doubt the Big 10 deserves Ohio State, Oregon, Penn State, and Indiana. They deserve that. Notre Dame deserves to be in. Boise State deserves to be in. That's 6. And then you've got your ACC champs and the Big 12 champs. That leaves SEC getting 4 schools in if that happens. Otherwise, it's probably going to be the ACC gets 2. If the SEC gets limited to 3, it's probably going to be the ACC comes up with two teams, and I don't think they deserve that over the SEC.
No. Again, 2:30 on ABC. So you've got Florida traveling to Florida State, going to Tallahassee to take on Florida State. Florida State has been abysmal this year. They had high hopes. I think they were also a top 5 or top 10 team coming into the season. They've got 2 wins. 6 o'clock, ESPN2. The line opened at 13. Now it's at 14.5 in favor of Florida. I think that, Napier and company are going to go down there. I think they're going to beat the hell out of Norvell. That Kirk.
Yeah,
ready to put that.
I don't understand why Florida State just got 2 wins because I know they lost to crap. I mean, the Rams got 2 players, Jared Verse and Braden Fisk, off their defense. I get that. First 2 picks for Florida State kids.
Yeah,
but I get that, but I just don't understand how they've gotten so bad so quick. I mean, they should have won more than 2. And I'm going to tell you, these people want Norvell fired. I see a lot of that, but I'm telling you, the guy's not a bad football coach. Norvell's not a bad coach. I'd take him in a heartbeat if he was available. If I had an opening, I'd take him in a heartbeat. He's not a bad coach.
No, but I can give you 73 million reasons why he will not get fired either.
That's going to save a lot of these guys. I mean, it's probably saved Napier last year in Florida. Now it's probably happy they kept him, I mean, but I mean, I don't know. Florida's 6-5. If they're happy with that or not, they're probably going to end up 7-5. Maybe that. There'll be some down there think, well, the Gators deserve better than that, but that's one step at a time. And I think that's better than where they were started the season to where they're ending it. Probably exceeded expectations.
They have, and that's also a testament to what Billy Napier has done in Gainesville. I mean, he's kept his head down. He didn't listen to the outside noise because if he had listened to the outside noise, he'd have been the worst football coach in FBS, and he probably wouldn't have any wins, and he'd be out of a job by now.
Yep.
So, again, 6 o'clock on ESPN2 Saturday night. You've got Oklahoma traveling to LSU, 6 o'clock on ESPN. LSU is a 6-point favorite. Both of these teams are coming off of pretty decent wins. You got Vanderbilt that lost to LSU this week and Alabama against Oklahoma. I really feel like Oklahoma is getting that rite of passage in the SEC by facing LSU at night in Death Valley. That right there, that's the signal saying that, by God, you've made it in the SEC.
Yeah, you've made it. Welcome to the SEC. Of course, they might say welcome to Oklahoma to Alabama too, 24-3. So I mean, there's so they've got something to hold. At least they've got something now to hold their head up about, because beating Alabama 24-3 is a nice game. That's a nice feat for a team like OU that was written off, and that's not bad at all to beat Alabama like that.
No. Again, 6 o'clock on ESPN. Yeah. This is a rivalry that's came back. You didn't see it since 2012 or 2011. I'm sorry, since A&M had made the jump to the SEC. You've got Texas traveling to A&M. There is no love lost between these two teams.
Not at all.
And it wouldn't surprise me if you see something where you have a little bit of a pregame fight, kind of like you see with Georgia, Florida in the cocktail. Texas is a 5.5-point favorite. A&M is going to come out and they're going to try to kick these guys in the teeth. They're fighting for a great bowl at this point. Maybe not so much a CFP bowl, but still a great bowl. And wouldn't it be just great for an A&M fan base to be able to knock Texas right out of it if they're able to?
Yeah, and they'd love nothing more. But
oh, Lord, yeah.
But
do you think there's a lot of hate between Arkansas and Texas fans? I would say there's probably 10 times what it is with – or 10 times less than what it is with A&M and Texas.
I will say this, though. I do think Texas, even if they lose to A&M Saturday, I still think they're in the playoffs.
I think that their body of work would –
They're 10-1. They just did 10-2. They'd still have one of the best records in the SEC. So I think Texas is in the playoffs regardless of what happens Saturday. Would that propel A&M past Alabama? Probably not. But I don't know. I mean, but of course Alabama's going to take care of Auburn, So, but I do think if Alabama beats Auburn, I do think they should be the fourth team, and I think the SEC should get 4 schools.
I
think it should be Alabama, not some of these other teams. And I hate it. I'm not an Alabama homer, believe me. I'm not a big Alabama fan at all, but I just know they deserve it more than say a Clemson does or some of those teams.
Yep. What's kind of interesting too, say for instance, you're looking at Clemson. One of their 2 losses was against Georgia.
Yeah, got stomped.
And then if you got a 2-loss Texas team, which their loss was to Georgia as well, and then A&M, I really think that you're going to put the CFP committee in a spin cycle at that point.
Yeah. So, Texas has got some good wins.
Yep.
I don't think they'll win the national championship, but I think they should. They're going to be in the playoffs, but I don't think they will win it. I really don't. We'll see.
Yep.
Maybe they do, but I don't think they will. But it's going to be interesting and see how it plays out. That's all you can do, man. Because I'm kind of skeptical of naming these schools because last weekend, man, I had no clue. So I sat there saying, "Oh, Auburn and OU are cooked," and what happened? They won, so they weren't cooked. So I was cooked. So
Same here.
Yeah. So a lot of people. I don't think anybody saw those coming. So that's just part of it. But it's crazy SEC this year.
All right, so you got looks like it's going to be a snow game. You got Arkansas traveling to Como to take on Missouri, 23rd in the country, 2:30 on the SEC Network. Missouri is a 3-point favorite. I think the line was 3.5 when it first came out. So basically, this game is a wash at this point.
Yeah. Get 3 for being the home team. I think that's what it used to be. I don't know if it's still that way or not. That's what they used to say. You get 3 for being the home team. So basically, it's called a toss-up, I guess.
You've got to protect Taylon Green this weekend. Arkansas's given up 28 sacks. He's accounted for 28 sacks, being sacked 28 times, I should say.
Yeah.
Where Brady Cook has only been sacked 19 times.
Well, and that's the thing. That's why I said earlier, not all these turnovers are on Taylon Green. He's got those pick 6 at Oklahoma State. He was hit on that play. He was hit on the play by an Oklahoma State tackler when he threw that pick 6. He was hit during the play.
Last week, that was pretty bad, though.
Yeah, it's just, last week he throws it right to the defensive back's hands, wide open, perfect pass. But a lot of them are on him, but not all of them are on him. And but he deserves some of the credit, some of the blame, but not all of it.
This was the Hogville picks for Saturday. I'll have this in my story that's going to come out on Thursday as well. Dudley's got Missouri 27-17 over Arkansas. Jerry Meadows has got Missouri 38, Arkansas 20. Drake Pretty's got Missouri 34, Arkansas 24. John James, our fantastic photographer, has got Arkansas 34, Missouri 18. Thought that he might.
I hope John the Baptist is right this time. I hope John's right on that one.
Yeah, that is the truth. And Otis, you've got Missouri 31, Arkansas 21.
Yeah.
And I have got. I hate this. It's like almost like turpentine coming out of my mouth. Missouri 28, Arkansas 24. I think it's going to be close, but I think there's going to be some.
I think it'll definitely be close, and it's probably going to be closer than the 10 points I predicted. But I think it'll be a close game, and I think Arkansas could win. But until they do it, they've just found more way. Like I said, it seems like to me that Arkansas finds ways to lose games, and Missouri finds ways to win them, and that's the difference in a lot of these close games, and close losses, close wins. Auburn looked like OU was going to beat them, and then Missouri figured out a way to win that game, and it's been that way all season. It's been that way for quite a few years. Just like one thing, you can hate or love the guy or hate him, but Drink finds a way to win games, and I don't think Sam always does. So it's interesting in that sense, and that's not good.
Yeah, and that's why I think that Missouri would edge Arkansas if it was a close game, because the track records speak for themselves.
That's why I picked Missouri. And it could even be like 24-21, be late, and Taylor throws an pick 6 and 31-21, something like that. But it could be 24-21, Missouri and Arkansas driving, and he throws a pick 6, or they fumble and they scoop and score, stuff like that. So, I think it'll be a close game, but I think Missouri will get them. I'd love to be wrong. Believe me, God, I'd love to be wrong. I'd love to see Arkansas kick their butt. Nothing against the Missouri kids, players, the state. It's all Drinkowitz.
Yeah, it is. All right, everybody. SEC championship game is going to be December 7th. Be sure to tune in for that. The day after is going to be the bowl selection show on December 8th.
Okay.
Find out where Arkansas will get to go after that. And so I think it will be I think it's going to be a reunion back in Memphis.
I think they're going to Liberty Bowl. I really do. I think it'll be the Liberty Bowl. I think the Liberty Bowl picks before Birmingham does. So I think Liberty will take Arkansas, unless they might want Tennessee or Vanderbilt. So I don't know, but I think the SEC. I think the Liberty Bowl would prefer Arkansas, but we'll see. I mean, there's some Tennessee schools going to go somewhere, but you got Nashville, Music City Bowl.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but we'll see what happens here. But I think that South Carolina beats Clemson too. I really do. So we'll see it along that line too.
Yep. All right, everybody. Thank you for joining us this evening. It's been a great show. This restaurant's been pretty full here for the most part. For the entire evening. I just don't think that people are wanting to cook tonight because of Thursday coming up. Notice.
I walked in. I've never seen this place. There was not one empty seat in the house when I walked in. Well, I think one thing is so cold that people weren't on the deck. There were some out on the deck, but there weren't many, of course. It was just too cold. But there wasn't one empty seat in the house when I first got here. I got here a little bit before you did, and I was shocked. I've never seen it this packed, and it was definitely packed. And, there's a lot of people wanting to eat and not cook tonight since they'll be in the kitchen all day Saturday or Wednesday or Thursday. Thursday they'll be in the kitchen cooking, and so we'll see what happens then.
Yeah. All right, well, everybody, thank you for joining us tonight. For Otis, myself, Jason, this has been the Arkansas Football Report live here at Torchys Tacos in Rogers, and go Hogs.
Y'all, it's time for some damn good tacos in college football. We're excited to announce our title sponsor, Torchys Tacos, for the Arkansas Football Report with Otis Kirk, and the new addition to the Hogville.net family, the Arkansas pregame show starring former Hog running back Marshall Foreman, hosted by Jason Pattison. If you're looking for a place to unwind and call the Hogs, Torchys is the place. Torchys' location on MLK in Fayetteville is the proud host of the Arkansas pregame show, and it will air 2 hours prior to kickoff of each Fayetteville home game. The Arkansas Football Report airs every Thursday at 7 p.m. in Rogers. Check out the full-service bar on the patio or in the restaurant while you cheer Arkansas on to victory. Torchys has you covered with the daily drink specials or the taco of the month with their queso that's made in-house fresh daily. Torchys has 2 convenient locations in Northwest Arkansas, which happen to be the only 2 locations here in the great state of Arkansas. They have you covered for some damn good tacos, and go Hogs.